Vernon Skinner and David Nakheet are also seeing some playing time as the Blast try to turn things around. Baltimore trying to stay out of last place. They're 4.5 games back in Cleveland. They need a victory here tonight in Chicago. It's the Blast against the Chicago Sting next here on
Raul Dominguez and also Tom Landy from left to right. The goaltenders on the right, Keith Van Aren for the Blast, Chris Vaccaro for Chicago. And Keith Van Aren getting a start the night after the Blast lost in Cleveland by a score of 4-1. And Scott Manning was the starter the other night. So Charlie, the Blast changing goaltenders pretty much now on a every other game basis.
Well, they did it for 8, 9 years, rotated them, and both of them had outstanding careers here in Baltimore. And so Keith went away 1 year with Vegas. He came back, and believe you me, there was not that, never has been that much difference between the pair of them. So I don't think that's anything unusual, especially in this soccer game. You don't usually go with one fella for the season. So Van Aren and Manning both excellent goalkeepers, and here we go, Thomas.
We're underway with the Blast starting Dave McKenzie, Stan Stomakovich, Richard Chinapu, Tim Whitman, and Bruce Savage. And Chicago kicking the ball away, getting it back to Stan Stomakovich, who hits it to the left, but Chicago in the white uniforms knocking it back for Chinapu, and Chinapu shot a little wide to the left side. Tim Whitman on Vaccaro. Blast getting up 3 shots quickly, but from way outside.
What a shot by Whitman, a good hard shot. Drilled it low, and you've got to keep that ball low. In this building especially, the thing has a tendency to rise for some reason.
Chicago starting Ben Collins, Greg Ian, Batata, along with Heinz Wirtz and Franz Matthew, a couple of former Blasts in that starting lineup, and Chris Vaccaro in the nets tonight.
Well, he's got 5 of them here at the ball club. Actually, 6 if Periano's out hurt. But the Blast players, I have to look here at David McWilliams, an old favorite. And, of course, Kenny was instrumental in having McWilliams get here to Chicago. He's helped them when Davey come back from the injury. So I'm glad to see David recovered, and I know that he'll play well for Chicago.
McWilliams wearing his familiar number 19. Getting it to Heinz Wirtz. Back over to Paul Crumpy. Crumpy picked up by Tim Whitman. Just underway from the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago.
You know, the amazing thing in this league, Tom, there's quite a bit of politics at times, but if Kenny doesn't recommend Davey, then Davey, when he went to Wichita and came back to Chicago, and Eric Geyer, of course, are good friends, and he called him and saw how he would do. And I'm so tickled because Cooper has never backed down on his ball players. He's tried to help them get a job other places, even though they've been released from Baltimore for some reason or other.
To play in the first quarter, we're scoreless, and we're going to take another look at Bruce Savage going down, Charlie.
Well, he really got nailed by Batata, and Batata's in the penalty box for 2 minutes, and believe you me, you don't see Savage go down like that often. This kid comes to play. He's one of the finest defensive players I've ever seen, period, outdoor, indoor, or any place else in soccer. And for Bruce Savage to get hurt, believe you me, that's a real blow. Batata nailed Savage, and this could get a little rough if he doesn't come back out.
Blast in a power play situation. They've scored only 5 power play goals this season. Help the Blast sting Chicago this Saturday night, February the 13th at 7:35 at the Baltimore Arena, and save $3 off the regular card price. Call now, 528-0100, the area code 301, and see the Blast beat Chicago in person.
All right, Thomas, let's go with the power play. We're going to put Stanley handling the ball. He's got Richard over on his right, Chinapu, and Furphy on the left, the hard left-footed and right-footed kickers. Timmy's down and low in the box. Chapman around the goal. He's around there behind Vaccaro, circling in front of him, behind him. He'll try to screen him out. That's the idea anyhow.
Stomakovich off the glass. Stan off to go back and get it, but Keith Van Aren kicks it up in the air, and it looks like it's going to go out, and it does. So it'll be Chicago's ball with 1:31 left in the power play for the Blast. Scoreless game with 2:31 left to play in the first quarter. Van Aren's been good in the nets tonight. A couple of very excellent saves.
The 3-line violation, one of those things, he's trying to clear the ball. All right, we've got Chappie, Yeremovich, Chinapu, Whitman, and Reynolds on the line. Heinz Wirtz will run this ball up from here. He'll kill the clock if anybody can.
Ben Collins in the corner. Reynolds took it away. There's a call
against the Blast.
Goes against Reynolds. 5 fouls on the Blast. Chicago shorthanded. Chinapoo getting the ball in the corner. Yaramovich, Keith Van Aaron, and the Blast will be on the attack again with 1:15 left to go in the power play opportunity. Keith Furphy comes back on field. So does Paul Crumpy for Chicago. Chinapoo looking at the clock as he brings the ball back upfield.
Need to go bad and break this sort of jinx that they've had on this ball club with the power play situation.
Well done. That's the way to finish in there.
Chapman had the ball go out.
He made the perfect pass right through the box. The only reason it didn't work is we had no one in there. We get a corner kick out of it. We're going to go. We're going to line up three and break three ways now. Let's see what happens. He should put it on the far end. He should put the ball on the far end if he can.
Demankovich for Chinapoo, wide left.
Miss.
Furphy comes out to get it back.
Richard had it. I'll tell you, that's where he wants it.
Here comes Furphy, rejected by Heinz Wirtz. Still 42 seconds left on the power play for the Blast. Game scoreless with 1:42 left to play in the first quarter.
You'd think with two fellows who can hit him as hard as Chinapoo and Furphy that we'd be doing a whole lot better on this power play situation. But for some unknown reason, they're blocking the shooting lanes very well. And if you watch Wirtz now, he's a smart soccer player. He knows Furphy as well as he knows his own name.
Demankovich with the ball for Baltimore. To Furphy, inside for Tim Whitman. He tried to back it in, and it didn't go as Vaccaro got a hand down.
Good play by Timmy. Did everything but did work.
Chinapoo will retreat. 25 seconds in the power play for the Blast. They've scored only 5 goals this season, the fewest in the Major Indoor Soccer League by any team that goes a man up.
Well, they're going to put Furphy over in the far post now, try to get a header or a shot.
Chinapoo to stand. Final 5 seconds of the power play to Tim Whitman, open on the left side. They'll get it to Chinapoo. Batata comes back on field. They're even. And Chicago has it back. Ben Collins. To Batata, but Chinapoo got it away.
We had no idea then. Right there you saw the lack of communication with the Blast. Timmy had no idea there was just 5 seconds left. Somebody should be talking out there and telling them what's going on. Just sitting here being sweet to one another because we're going bad is not the answer. You've got to talk.
Van Aaron will distribute. Final 30 seconds and a whistle blows. It'll be a Blast ball.
Something's happened here. We've got a situation which we couldn't tell from high up here, whether it's a foul or a dissent or whatever.
I thought they signaled Blast ball, but evidently I'm wrong.
Well, there's something that happened here within 2 minutes. He's giving it to us now. Huh? What did he call? Against the Blast? Well, Tom, the Blast have had too many men on the field at one time, and that's what the penalty's about. We don't know if Savage is going to come back or not. He's got a very severely bruised right knee. Doubtful if he returns the rest of the evening.
All right, so Bruce Savage hurting.
And a 2-minute penalty for too many men on the floor at one time. So it looks like Chappie will come over here and serve the penalty. And when things are going bad, believe you me, it don't rain, it pours.
It'll carry over also, Charlie, into the second quarter because there's only 27 seconds remaining in this, the first period. Game scoreless.
All right, let's see what kind of a defense we're going to come up with. Right now we have a 1-3 with Timmy out in front. He'll be the chaser, and they'll go with Thompson, McKenzie, and Reynolds on that back line.
Chicago scored 14 power play goals and 48 chances. Batata has it kicked away by Tim Whitman. Timmy heads it to midfield.
Timmy's still got the ball. Good play, Timmy.
Michael Reynolds needing help. Getting around Batata, and then the ball was ticked away. Reynolds back to McKenzie, and now the Blast try to set it up, but Chicago winds up with it. Wide left, the shot by Davey McWilliams.
It wouldn't have counted anyhow. The quarter was over just prior to Davey taking his shot. We had the golden opportunity.
That's the end of the first quarter. We're going to take to the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. Scoreless first period. Bruce Savage may get back in. In fact, he is back in right now, Charlie.
How about that? It's a great... Douglas has done a fine job of getting him back in shape. He was working on his knee the whole time we were talking. And believe you me, Bruce is just such a fine lad. If you get an opportunity to know this young man, he comes to play every night, and we don't want to see anything happen to this. Whoever a fellow that's been the same all the time, good, bad, or indifferent, it's Savage. All right, let's go, Thomas.
Chapman serving the 2 minutes for the 6th man on field for the Blast. There's still 1:30 left in the power play for Chicago. They're moving now right to left.
It's the interception. Here it goes. Come on, Timmy. Give it to him. Come on, Mac. Open it up. Just a little bit too far.
Took you to the second quarter to start rooting, huh?
Oh, man. Timmy had a chance to score.
Marhetic to Wirtz.
That hurt.
Savage going right into the corner there for Teddy Kraft.
Right after him, too. That's good.
Kraft didn't play in the first quarter.
Not trying to protect that knee. That's good.
Off the boards, in close.
Good play all the way around.
Keith Van Aaron got down. Dave McWilliams trying to get the ball. Ben Collins to the corner. Van Aaron covers. This is Andy Chapman to Tim Whitman. Blast making a line change with Bruce Savage coming back on field. Michael Reynolds leaves.
Hit it, Timmy.
Whitman guarded by Wirtz. McKenzie coming down the far side, but distributing for Chinapoo. Top, now back to Timmy Whitman.
Timmy's being too nice. You don't want to pull the trigger. He's trying to pass the ball. He's trying to play captain too much. Take his shot.
Chapman in the corner, trying to use the boards. He's double teamed. Blast get it back to Bruce Savage on the wing near side. Blast are going in the wrong direction now.
They're awful dangerous.
7:10 left to play in the first half. Still, both teams have yet to or Stamankovich, right?
Well, if you're going to get a shot, you want a guy like Chinapoo shooting, and if you're going to have for the ball handler, you go to Stamankovich, and if you're going to have a runner, a guy who directs the action, you got to go to Timmy. Timmy comes to play all the time. He comes to play. He'll play 60 minutes or 120. It doesn't matter. The trouble I'm worried about him is that he's being too nice and not shooting enough. I got to give him some raw meat. Get Timmy fired up again. I can't have this.
Give him a little lecture after this.
Exactly what I'm going to have to do because he ain't looking for a shot.
The coach and color commentator, Michael Reynolds, has it knocked away right in front of the goaltender, Vaccaro. It was knocked away by Ben Collins. And now Matthew. Crossfield. Davey McWilliams back on for Chicago. Getting it across to Marhetic. Van Aaron bats it in the air, brings it back down, and will look to distribute.
Got his own rebound. Way to hustle, Keith.
Jeremovich now laying back, guarded by Matthew. 5:45 left to play in the first half. Neither team has scored.
Make a run on him, Timmy.
Troy, you know, this field is so much bigger than in Baltimore. 15 feet longer. Does it?
Firth showed us something then. That's a pretty good move, Firth.
And it goes in off Tim Whitman. Murphy to Tim Whitman. And let's see who gets credit for the goal. It may have got...
Timmy got the credit.
Timmy got the credit. Murphy with the assist. The Blast lead at 1-0 with 5:24 left to play in the first.
What happened is Murphy made a double pirouette, what do you want to call it? He did a double number on him, and Timmy was running through there, and he gave it a little backhand flip there. Here we go again. Here we see it again on the screen. Let's watch it carefully. Firth gives him a double hitch. And it goes right off of Whitman and squeezed in that corner. Far post, as Cooper would say. Far post. 1-0 Blast. How much time? 5:24 to go in the second quarter.
So the scoring drought is broken.
Thank God for little favors.
19th goal for Whitman. That's tops on the club.
Did you see the Thomas when I talked to you about him not shooting? Did you see it happen?
What did you think?
In the first place, you just shouldn't make the rumors shouldn't start. The trades at this time of the year, when you're going bad, you're not going to get the full value received. And it was more talk than anything else, as far as I'm concerned. These things should never come out in the press. It's the talks that aren't. Get in there.
Stamankovich with the goal. The Blast lead at 2-0 with 2:03 left to play in the half. Stan Stamankovich.
Beautiful pass. What a lead pass by Stamankovich. And Whitman cutting across, and he hit him right in the numbers. It's 2-0 Blast here in Chicago. Getting back to your original question, Tom. When you make the Harrison replay, all right, let's see it stands pass. Beautiful. And there's Timmy in there with feet, legs, arms, body, and everything else. You know, when you make talk about deals, that's when they're never made. They're never made when you talk about them.
Whitman gets his second goal of the night.
The assist to Stamankovic.
Stamankovic gets the assist, and the Blast have a 2-0 lead with 2:03 left to play. They've scored twice in the span of the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and Whitman's got them both.
First half. That's the Van Aaron of old, and believe you me. Go on, Richie, hit another one.
Chinapoo off the boards. Vaccaro brings it up. Quickly clearing for Teddy Kraft down the left side.
Can't stop the momentum. That's the one thing we got to stop. We got to keep going. What up, boy, Chappie?
Final minute of play, first half, excuse me. 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Blast leading 2-0. Bruce Savage now distributing for Stan Stamankovic. Final 30 seconds of the first half.
Beautiful play by Furphy. Great day in the morning.
Furphy with a nice touch, just had a little bit too much on it, a little too high. Final 20 seconds of the half. Dave McKenzie. Keith trips, may have hurt himself.
No, he's all right. He'll come up. He'll come up. Attaboy, Keith. Come up throwing.
He did hurt himself, Charlie.
He's up. He's bouncing back.
Well, it didn't tickle.
No, nothing tickles out there.
That's the end of the first half. The Blast with 2 goals from Tim Whitman lead Chicago 2-0 at half.
He was going without the
First goal with about 5:20 left to play in the first half. Blast 1-0. You see Furphy there making some nice moves with the ball, and there's Tim Whitman right inside and scoring.
And Furph made it all possible. He did a couple of good moves now. It's an old pro working in the corner. And Timmy gives a little bit of, he's getting smarter. He don't have to kick him so hard. Be in the right place at the right time. Second goal coming up.
Chinapoo leading Stamankovic at the top of the key, and a line drive that Whitman's there to drive in.
I wouldn't call it driving so much. He was doing the driving, but he got a piece of it. That's all about. You know, the average, most of the goals scored in the MISL, Tom, are deflections. Because, believe me, they all can hit the ball hard. They know how to pass. They know how to trap. They know how to do everything. If you go without the ball, you make things happen, and a lot of deflections, and that's what a goalkeeper cannot help himself with a deflection, because you freeze him. He'll go for the shot. Now a fellow flips it off, and bingo, an easy goal. But that's the secret of this game, and that's hard to get it through their little heads sometimes.
Blast have blanked Chicago, much to the goaltending of an excellent effort by Keith Van Aaron tonight. We're going to take a look at one of the saves that he had.
Keith's had a great first half. He's made several key saves. The big thing Keith is doing tonight, he's taking charge out there. He's talking like he's telling them where to go on defense. He's hollering. He's firing them up. That's a big thing to have a captain of defense. And Keith has done that period tonight. You can hear him up here in the bleachers.
I want to ask you, when Whitman got the second goal off of Stamankovic, could Stamankovic have scored that goal without Whitman there?
I didn't think so. The ball was not hit that hard. The goalkeeper was going in that direction, and Timmy was going across, and his deflection froze the goalie. No, I don't think he could have scored.
We're going to take a look at the first half statistics with Chris Vaccaro with a total of saves in the first half by 3 now. He's got 6 for the first half, had 3 in the second quarter. And Keith Van Aaron now has 11 saves for the game, including 11 there in the second quarter. So a very good effort by Keith Van Aaron. And the Blast getting the 2 goals from Tim Whitman. And the Blast have a 2-0 advantage, and we'll be back with the... They'll be down there, Tacoma, one of the better teams in the league. Have a lot of stars. Maybe too many stars.
That can work to a disadvantage many times. Well, we've got a 2-0 lead here as we start the second half. We've got to keep the momentum. You can't ease up.
And I can see Charlie's revved up for the start of the second half.
I am revved up. I'm ready. Get back in a hurry.
Batata dishing off left side, and Van Aaron gets down on the shot by Crumpy.
Okay. Now, you see the advantage of going after the ball. You must stop the ball first. And there's where Chinapoo made a good play. Savage was coming behind him to take them, and it was open. And you've got to talk on that defense. You've got to talk. No matter what language you use, just talk.
Like the Blast had
open. Jeez, me.
It looked like the Blast had a line of guys. They were just going to chain link it wide high. That was Ben Collins with the shot. Blast get it back near midfield now. Chinapoo trying to get it back, but could not. Chicago on the attack.
2 passes and we're right there.
Batata taking it into the corner using the boards, picked up by Bruce Savage and stopped there. And Chicago will try to reset with Heinz Wirtz going high and away.
Now you see what Wirtz is doing. He's forcing the shots now. He feels like he's got to get something going. He might get lucky, a deflection, and it's a poor selection of a shot, but he has to do it.
Does that mean Chicago comes out panicky, down 2 goals to
Well, I guarantee they're not exactly leading Shears down the loop.
There's one. Almost,
he hit that one up into the Wrigley Field.
Almost went out of the park.
Rebound. His idea is good. No one was in that area.
Chapman strips. Blast get it back. Murphy rolls it upfield. Timmy Whitman can't get to it as Vaccaro takes it away for the Chicago Sting.
He's going to shoot.
Maria. Inside, Chicago gets its first goal of the evening. Scored by Greg Ian, and Chicago's on the scoreboard with 9:49 left to play in the third. They're now trailing the Blast 2-1.
And the way we were playing, you knew it was inevitable. We're running around helter-skelter. Believe you me, here it is again, right back. There it is, easy goals, easy goals. And Aaron had no chance. We lose the intensity, we make the mistake, and we pay for it dearly. And that apparently has been Coach Cooper's problem, keeping this club's intensity up. And for some reason, they let it down, and now we're back in a ball game. We've got our work cut out for it. We've got to score one real quick, or we're going to have a long...
Collier passing down the far side of the field for Ben Collins, and then passing across, the ball was knocked up in the air and out. Paul Crumpy had it go out of the field, and there's going to be a timeout on the field now with 7:16 left to play in the third. The Blast leading the Chicago Sting by a score of 2-1, and we'll take Be Funny. So tune in tomorrow night for Easy Money at 8 right here on TV 45. Charlie, could you give up all your nasty habits for that kind of money?
No, I don't have any bad habits. This ball game is tied up.
Ben Collins with the goal. Chicago ties it, 7:13 left in the third. Collins into a wide open net.
And this is a mental mistake by Timmy Whitman. A complete mental breakdown. Timmy giving the pass back, an easy pass, and he's walking away. He knows he's made the mistake. He's dejected. It's all tied up, and we've got our work cut out for us. Things like this will make a coach grow old. I'll tell you that in a hurry.
For Collins, his 15th goal, game tied at 2 with 7:13 left in the third. Blast scored twice in the second. Whitman had both. Chicago comes back with Ian and Collins scoring in the span of the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds to tie it up here in the Chicago. Game tied at 2 with 2:15 left in the third. Works from outside. The shot was almost headed in there by Teddy Kraft, but he couldn't get his head on the ball. Batata chips it up in the air. Nice ball handling here by Mahedic. Teddy Kraft with a line drive off the glass above Van Aaron.
I mean, they put it right there for him in the middle of that box.
Batata trying to get clear. Shot wide right.
Clear that ball. Clear it.
Davey McWilliams back on field for Chicago now. Here's Heinz Wirtz coming down. Batata takes it off the boards. Back to Heinz Wirtz, and it's knocked away by Uremovich. 1:29 left in the third. Game tied at 2. 30 seconds left in the power play for Chicago. Wirtz straight on. Batata.
Good block by McKenzie. Heinz is trying to trap it to set it up one more time. He comes around slowly, gives it over to Marketic, and he wants to hit one.
Batata from straight on, chipped up in the air by Bruce Savage, headed away. 12 seconds, 10 left in the power play, and a whistle.
Foul on McKenzie, a good foul.
7 on the Blast. Inbounds pass. Wirtz inside. Batata tries to roll it in front of Van Aaron, couldn't get it past him, and both sides will be even in 1 second, and they will, as Chapman comes on field. High pass from Keith Van Aaron, headed away by Wirtz at midfield. 2-2 with 40 seconds left to play in the third. Chicago scored both of its goals in this period.
Greg Ian and Ben Collins with the goals in this, the third. Tim Whitman had 2 for Baltimore in the second. Tata got around the Whitman. The ball comes off the glass.
They missed.
Davey McWilliams trying to put it through.
There's a foul. It should be the man's laying down.
Oscar Albuquerque did the tripping, but no call.
6 seconds to go here in the quarter. 3, 2, 1, and that's it.
That's the end of the third from the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago with the Blast and Chicago Sting tied at 2. You're watching the Blast on TV. Tying goal for Chicago. Tim Whitman had both of the Blast goals. That coming back in the second quarter. It was a scoreless first period, and a whistle blows and a foul called already. One on the Blast.
Foolish foul by Yurmovich. We've got Ronson in, I think, for the first time tonight, Tom. Got a boy, Ferptig.
Chapman couldn't get it away.
He can block his man. That's the main thing.
Murphy to Ronson, who takes a seat. Knocked down there by Chico Morera.
Come on, Chappie.
Covered by Vaccaro.
Good play by Vaccaro.
Chapman all ready to boot the ball through. Vaccaro covered it with his head and arms.
If he could have just got it up in the air and got it over his prostrate body, he'd have been all right. Prone. Vaccaro, 2 fouls on the Blast already.
Blast getting 2 quick ones here to start the fourth quarter. Game tied at 2 with 14-14 left. The Tata rolls one and another
foul. Now foul by Singh. 2-1 now. They're not playing too smart here right now. Both clubs are a little sloppy. Both of them may be trying a bit too hard. But Yurmovich has had a pretty good night handling the ball. Good pass.
Into the corner for Stamankovic. Stan trying to drive. Morera and Stamankovic go down. Tim Whitman has the ball for the Blast. Back out to Bruce Savage.
Now you see where the Blast made a mistake. Everybody stood around and watched Stanley fall down instead of going without it, just running there somewhere so he can get the ball loose. But if you don't run with him, he can't help you. Timmy has to be in the lineup with him. The kid Reynolds, somebody that can really run. Ronson should be in the lineup. He can hit the open man if they're running.
Chicago takes a 3-2 lead with 13:24 left to play. Chicago has scored 3 straight.
That's a far corner shot. They talk about it all the time. Nobody challenges him. Matthew has an easy shot and a perfectly placed shot. There's no way Keith could have handled this. 3-2. Chicago. And the Blast have their work cut out for them, I assure you.
Ian, Collins, and now Matthew. 3 straight goals for Chicago. They take the lead 3-2 over the Blast, who have not scored in the...
Attaboy, McKenzie.
Blast will have a man back in 10 seconds. Murphy will be coming back on field in 10 seconds.
We should kill the clock down until we get Murphy on the floor.
Murphy back in. Power play for the Blast for the next 105.
Murphy's got the ball right now. Come on, Murphy.
Savage cutting across. Nice pass there underneath.
Yeah, but he's going out of the game.
It was neat. Stamankovic. Back to Murphy. Blast need one and get one! Keith Murphy with the tying goal with 9:16 left, and the game is tied at 3. Keith Murphy comes through for the Blast. For Murphy, who has been the Blast point leader this season, it's his 16th goal.
And with his right foot, let's look at it again, Tom. Let's see if he got it. It didn't hit anybody. I don't know if it didn't. Look, it didn't hit Whitman. So it's a goal. We'll find out in a moment. But believe you me, Timmy was right in there ready to get the rebound, and he might have screened the goalie out. A big goal for the Baltimore Blast. It's all tied up in Chicago, 3-3. 9:16 left to play.
It's more important, Charlie, the crowd suddenly drew silent.
Well, you get them out of there. You know, when you get them in, it's just like being in Baltimore. When we score a goal, our crowd helps us a great deal. We play an entirely different brand of soccer at home for no reason other than the fact that we're just not getting the intensity that we should have. There's nothing wrong with this ball club. That little bit more intensity won't take.
3. Tim Whitman has 2 goals for the Blast. Keith Furphy tied it up with 9:16 left to play in this the 4th quarter.
Well, if you like indoor soccer, you had to like this ball game because they've done it all. I'd tell you, old Jim Fawcett would love this. He's been here with us tonight. He tried to get here. I guess Fawcett's got bad connections out of Pittsburgh. One thing we didn't. We make every town in the United States. We ought to get a travel folder. If I ever leave this job, I'm going to just sit around and show people how to go someplace. It'll take a long while to get there.
The ball goes out. The shot was taken by Gary Collier.
Shrapnel was going off. It's our ball.
With the boards here, the glass around this arena sound a lot louder than they do in Baltimore.
Well, it sounds like World War III, and it's good. You think you're making a landing when you hit this thing. Boom, bang, boom. Scares the fans. It keeps them awake. Nobody can sleep in this building.
Certainly not being around you can they fall to sleep.
Oh, Davis, you're getting an experience that people pay thousands for.
I'm on chapter 8 of my book on you, and I've only been on 4 trips.
This may be the coming of you. You may make Hollywood on a bus.
2:30 left to play. Game tied at 3. Van Aert to midfield, and Chicago get it back to Franz Matthew, who scored the lead goal for Chicago a few moments ago.
Attaboy, Removich. Outrun him. Attaboy, son. Nice hustle.
Billy Ronson with it.
Good pass.
Head for Andy Chapman.
Good move. Now that's like knowing where the guy's going to be. You follow me? He, Chapman, Ronson, and Furphy all work well together.
Reynolds had it knocked away by 19 Dave McWilliams. But Carl will distribute. Less than 2 minutes to go now, Charlie, in the regulation. Game tied at 3. Chicago with the ball at midfield.
Pick the ball up. Pick the ball up. Attaboy, Timmy now.
Whitman coming downfield, but he has no one to help him.
That's all right. He's outrunning everybody. He got clobbered. They put him into the boards.
Matthew knocked down Tim Whitman.
Knowing Matthew, let's look at it again.
Looks like Whitman's back may have been injured.
He got hit pretty good, but he'll bounce back. He's a tough kid. Knowing Matthew, it's not intentional. Matthew plays that way.
Comes to Mankiewicz to play the ball back in. Off the boards, chipped away by Chicago's Gary Collier. Perfect. 1:30 left. Game tied at 3. Chinapu from way outside. Thud shot knocked away. To midfield, Chinapu again. Straight on for Billy Ronson to the corner. Crossfield for Bruce Savage. Savage getting it back to Keith Furphy. 1:09 left to play. 3-3 tie. Furphy looking for Dave McKenzie to Billy Ronson. Into the corner. Ronson will play it away, and Chicago will get it back with 1 minute left to play, and they're coming downfield. Ben Collins using the boards, and it's knocked away by Chinapu. Blast retreating to get it. Billy Ronson, can he come up with it at midfield? Yes. 43 seconds and tied at 3. This is Bruce Savage ahead for Furphy, turning. Chinapu shot wide right.
We had a 3-1 advantage right then and there.
34 seconds and a whistle. Chicago's ball, game tied at 3. 34 seconds left to play in regulation.
This would be a big win for the Blast. It would take away a lot of the doubting Thomases. Nothing like winning on a road before you come back home to play another ball game tomorrow night. It's a big boost, especially the way the club's been snake bit and having their problems. But here's a good 4th period. We've had one bad period, that was the 3rd, where we didn't have the intensity. We come back in the 4th quarter and play good soccer, and we're going right down to the wire.
Coach Eric Geyer there of Chicago. 30 seconds. Will Chicago play for a tie now and just go into the extra period, or will they try to take a couple of more shots here in the final 20 seconds?
I don't see how you can play for a tie if it's low in the standings.
Reynolds. Come on, get it to Tim Whitman. Into the attack zone. The ball goes out off the glass.
I think the Chicago ball player hit it. Let's see.
11 seconds left to play. Game tied at 3.
Nope. He's going to give it to Chicago. Apparently, Timmy was trying to feed Chapman off the glass, and it went over.
Whitman scored both Blast goals in the second. Blast led it 2-0 at halftime. Greg Ian, Ben Collins, Back-to-back goals in the third to tie it at 2. Franz Matthew gave Chicago a 3-2 advantage. Then Keith Furphy tied it up with 9:16 left to play in this game. It's still tied at 3. Final 10 seconds. And Bruce Savage will cover it. 3, 2, 1. And that is the regulation with the game tied at 3. We'll be back with the start of the overtime here in Chicago with the game tied at 3. The Blast 3 and Chicago 3. This is the Blast on.
There they go. Heinz is getting a little tired when he makes that kind of a pass. That's when Wirtz is tired out a little bit.
Furphy with a line drive to the corner. Andy Chapman trying to turn on Vaccaro. Could not. Vaccaro distributes down to midfield. Teddy Kraft. Short hop by Van Aaron. He'll get it ahead for Billy Ronson, and he'll chip it. I don't know. Greg Ian, who scored one of the 3 goals for Chicago, getting it over to Chico Morera. But taken away, and then Marhetic with the ball. But Chapman gets back to get it to the Blast. To Furphy at midfield. Blast could win it with a goal. Chicago could also. We're in overtime.
Now, Furphy was trying to make a move in that particular case. Nobody told him that here was coming up on the outside was Teddy Kraft. And he didn't hear him and didn't see him. That's why you should be talking out there at all times.
Chinapu guarding Chico Morera. Ball over to Marhetic.
He wants to try to set up. Good stop.
Chinapu doing the job defensively. Chicago has to retreat to get it. Matter of fact, they'll retreat everybody to set it back up. Whitman tries to steal. Wirtz controls.
Nobody called anything. We just had a handball we got away with.
McIntosh on field for the first time tonight for the Blast. Tim Whitman.
Come on, Mac. Let's go, kid. Hey there.
Vaccaro with a one-handed stop of McIntosh's attempt to end it.
That's all right. The kid's got some heart. He comes out and takes a shot right off the bat.
Chinapu looking for McKenzie. Back to Bruce Savage.
They'll try to feed Stamankovic now.
They feed Stan, who turns. The ball's chipped up in the air. Savage brings it down. Chinapu and Savage will play catch with it back at midfield. Stan Stamankovic plays the ball off the boards.
Stanley, go in deep, Stanley.
Here's Stamankovic turning and just missing the game-winning shot.
That was it. That was it, Thomas. We had an opportunity and a great play by Stan. All except going in a hole. Stop the ball. Stop the ball, man.
Collier with the ball. Shot. Van Aaron gets down and saves it. Still tied at 3. 12:34 left to play in the 5th quarter.
Keith's got to get in deep. Furphy's got to get in deep. He's wide open on his corner.
Whitman scored twice. Just missed the 3rd.
That's a boy, Timmy, finally taking that shot. You've got to take that shot.
Did you order that raw meat?
Yep, I'm telling you, I don't care if he misses, just take it.
Nick Williams bringing it down for Batata. Nick Williams looking for the ball. Batata comes around. Shot wide right off the boards. Blast get it back, though. Chinapu will retreat in front of the Chicago bench. He'll knock down Franz Matthew. No call there.
He got hit. Foul on the sting.
Quick play.
McKenzie's open.
McKenzie back to Tim Whitman. One foul in Chicago, none on the Blast. Chinapu distributing for Bruce Savage. Missing Andy Chapman on a lead pass. Davey McWilliams picked up by Ronson in the corner. Bruce Savage coming from behind. Down goes McWilliams. It'll be Chicago ball. Batata. Line change for Chicago. Batata. Chicago trying to get something there from Oscar Albuquerque, but he was double covered.
Foul on Reynolds.
Reynolds gets the foul. Albuquerque goes down.
Big play right here, Tom. We can clear that ball right here. We're in this ball game. It's a big play. They'll set up.
Get out, get out!
Off the glass. Wirtz will try to get one for Chicago. On field is Paul Crumpy. Chipped in the air and out of the playing field by Oscar Albuquerque.
Believe you me, they took the chances. They had a couple of shots, and with poor selection, they could have been much closer. But now they're arguing amongst themselves, and that could be the best thing to happen to us.
11:02 left in the 5th quarter. Game tied at 3. Murphy's goal evened it with 9:16 left in the 4th.
We've one well-executed play. Now we have the ball. Timmy's up front on the wing. Got Stan in the middle. Chinapoo on the other wing. You're going to go with apparently Reynolds and
Teddy Kraft trying to get past Yeremovich, but he took the ball away. Kraft has it, dishes it off into the corner for Chico Moreric. Ward for the shot, and makes it for Chicago. 4-3 with 10:02 left in the 5th quarter. Heinz Ward for the game-winning shot, and Chicago has beaten the Blast 4-3.
this is one game we should have never lost. At Harbin, Murphy had a good ball game. Keith Van Aaron played a fine game. He never saw that shot. That ball was hit from far out by Heinz Wirtz. It was a good selection. It was a low, hard trajectory. Nope, nobody saw that one. Big win for Chicago and a very tough loss for the Snake 15. That's one thing I can say. This ball club had played well enough to win tonight, having a lapse in the 3rd quarter, and that was